When Microsoft bought Activision, they bought a $69 billion money machine. The only real job that they have is to make sure that it keeps on printing. Welcome back to another video, and we are currently less than 1 month away from the Activision-Blizzard Xbox Bethesda video game showcase extravaganza. Hype is high, the rumor mill is starting to churn, and rumblings have Perfect Dark on the roster. Gears of War is making a comeback after a 5-year hiatus, but beyond that, the mainstream audience is all about that Call of Duty Direct. Technically a redacted direct, but it's pretty clear it's Call of Duty. Starting off, Call of Duty even being at the Xbox showcase marks a very significant changing of the guard because Activision signed a 10-year marketing deal with PlayStation that brought console bundles, timed exclusive skins and modes, and plenty of debut trailers plastered with so much PlayStation branding, you'd almost think it was an exclusive. And that was the idea. Call of Duty had become so synonymous with Xbox during the 360 generation that PlayStation dropped a very significant amount of cash to lock in marketing and features that made PlayStation consoles the most appealing way to play. It wasn't really anti-competitive, but it definitely made PlayStation come out on top. But that deal was signed back in 2014. And it's 2024, which means not only is that marketing agreement completely null and void, Microsoft now owns the company that signed it to begin with. Now, beyond this year's trailers having green branding instead of blue, all eyes are on the small perks that Xbox is going to toss in to try and win back some fanfare and convince players to play their favorite shooter franchise on Xbox consoles. And when Microsoft was fighting for this acquisition in court, timed content, deals, and exclusive modes were two of the points brought up in court to prove that purchasing ABK would not establish a monopoly. So if you're expecting to see an Xbox exclusive Spec Ops mode, I would not hold my breath. Instead, it looks like Microsoft is sticking to their strategy and leaning into the service that's defined their entire generation so far: Xbox Game Pass. After weeks of rumors that Microsoft was debating internally, the Wall Street Journal has reported that this year's Call of Duty is going to be on Xbox Game Pass on day one. And that's a decision that comes with a lot of questions for Xbox and for its players. Call of Duty is a game that's guaranteed to sell millions and millions of copies across PlayStation, Xbox, and PC every single year. Even Call of Duty Vanguard, the worst received game in the last few years, still sold a cool 30 million copies. You know, casual numbers. Based on Bobby Kotick's testimony during last year's FTC trial, it's fair to estimate that 8% of Call of Duty's monthly active users play on Xbox. Now, doing a little bit of napkin math, these are not solid numbers. Let's just say that this year's Call of Duty game sells 50 million copies, and that 8% of them are on Xbox. That's 4 million players, roughly all of them guaranteed to spend $70 a piece on a copy of the game to generate $280 million in revenue, before microtransactions and battle passes are even factored in. Now, the question for Xbox is, would they rather have a guaranteed income of nearly $300 million, or add this year's Call of Duty to Xbox Game Pass, lose out on thousands of those paying players, but have a potential upswing of bringing more people into Game Pass who are going to pay roughly $17 a month? If the price stays at that point. Because it looks like Microsoft is already planning on making some changes to account for one of the biggest games in the world joining the Game Pass catalog. Reports are flying that new Game Pass tiers are going to be shifted around, likely with price changes to make that hit to the bottom line a little bit less risky. Time will tell what the actual plan is, but it could make sense to keep the existing structure of Core for the basics, Game Pass for console and PC for players that want that library, and Ultimate for players that want everything across every platform, and then add an Ultimate plus Call of Duty tier. Game Pass Ultimate is currently $16.99 per month, which is a steal for people that enjoy having some variety in the games that they play. I love it, have no intent to unsubscribe from it, but even as somebody who takes full advantage of the service every single month, that's starting to inch higher and higher into a monthly price that's tougher to swallow. Microsoft really has two options here: try to keep it as affordable as possible, or prove the worth of a more expensive option. $20 a month for Game Pass Ultimate and Call of Duty would still be affordable, but is a $2 to $3 increase really going to move the needle all that much for Microsoft to warrant changing their entire structure? I mean, that's an extra $36 per year. Alternatively, a $25 per month subscription would be a little bit pricier, but bring in just about as much additional revenue as a deluxe edition of Call of Duty. But that's too much for the majority of players to go for without an additional carrot on the stick to make them want to get it. Could Xbox include battle passes for free, extra discounts on in-game currency, exclusive skins for Xbox Game Pass subscribers? And if they do any of that, what moves can they actually make to prove the value and get players in the door without triggering red flags for the FTC? But no matter how you slice it, this is going to be a turning point for Call of Duty, and it very well could be a turning point for Xbox. Marketing is a very powerful tool. It effectively solidified PlayStation as the best place to play Call of Duty for the last 10 years. Xbox locking down marketing rights for as long as they own Activision-Blizzard is a huge win in its own right, but now the question turns to how they continue to make that money back that they spent on this absolutely monumental acquisition. and how they continue to win over players in the process. Players have questions and Xbox has answers, or at least they will in June. I hope they do. But let me know down below, how do you think Microsoft is going to slice and dice Game Pass to squeeze in Call of Duty? Do you think that the new marketing perks are going to move the needle for Xbox? And more than anything, are you excited to see what this year's Call of Duty has in store? I'd love to know your thoughts. And as always, if you're new here, you like what you see and what you hear, hit that subscribe button for videos like this every week and gaming news shorts throughout the week to keep you in the loop. And I'll catch you on the next one.